There was a time in my life when everything felt flat. Not bad, not great, just ordinary. I had a decent job, a comfortable routine, and by all accounts, a life that should have felt fine. But something wasn't right. It was like I was on autopilot, coasting through the days without any single real sense of direction or purpose. One evening, as I sat on the couch watching some yet another TV show I didn't care about, it really hit me. I had been stuck in my comfort zone. And while I knew that my comfort zone wasn't inherently bad, I realized it has become a trap. I wasn't growing, I wasn't challenging myself, and I wasn't living with any real intention. One night, I remembered a quote I had read: "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." At this moment, I knew I had to do something. But what? I was so used to living in my bubble that the idea of stepping out felt daunting. The next day at work, an opportunity came up. My boss asked if I wanted to lead a new project, a project that would stretch my skills and require me to step up in ways that I haven't before. But instead of feeling excited, I felt afraid. So I declined. Looking back, I can see that it wasn't because I didn't want the responsibility. I was scared of failing. I was scared of stepping out of my comfort zone and taking on something that I wasn't sure I could handle. It was easier to avoid responsibility altogether, to keep coasting along in the safety of what I knew. But after turning down that project, I couldn't shake the feeling that I had just missed out on something important. It was at this moment of clarity I realized I have been blaming external factors like my job, the economy, and whatever for the lack of my progress. But the truth was, I was avoiding the responsibility of my own life. It took me a while, but I started to notice that fear was running the show. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, fear of stepping into something unfamiliar. I had let fear dictate my actions, and in doing so, I had limited myself. I wasn't living up to my potential because I was too scared to even try. But now, I had to break free from that. How do I move past the fear? For me, it started with self-awareness. I knew I just had to be honest with myself. So I began to reflect on where I was in life and what was holding me back. I asked myself the hard question: what do I truly want? What are my strengths? And why am I so afraid of change? The more I thought about it, the more I realized that I have been living on autopilot for years, reacting to life rather than engaging with it intentionally. That realization led me to something even deeper. I began to see that I wasn't aligning my actions with my values. I had always considered myself someone who valued growth, creativity, and integrity, but my daily actions weren't reflecting that. I was playing it safe, choosing comfort over challenge, and avoiding the very thing that would push me to grow. This misalignment between my values and the actions left me feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. It was no wonder I felt lost. I wasn't living in accordance to who I was. Another major revelation that came was when I realized how much I had isolated myself. I used to be surrounded by a group of friends who encouraged me to push my boundaries and chase my dreams. But over time, I had drifted away from them, choosing solitude over social connection. Looking back, I can see how isolating myself only made things worse. I wasn't getting the support or inspiration I needed to stay motivated. As they say, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I had spent most of my time alone. And then there was my well-being, or rather the lack of it. I had been neglecting my health for a long time, both physically and mentally. My diet was poor. I wasn't exercising. I was carrying around an unhealthy amount of stress. It was as if my lack of purpose had drained my motivation to take care of myself. I started to see how all these things, staying in my comfort zone, avoiding responsibility, letting fear control me, lack of self-awareness, misaligning my actions and values, and isolating myself were interconnected. Each habit fed into the next, creating a circle that kept me stuck. But recognizing my problem is half the battle. Once I saw the patterns, I knew what I had to do. I started small, pushing myself out of my comfort zone bit by bit. I took responsibility of my actions, even when it was hard. I began to acknowledge my fears, but instead of letting them stop me, I used them as a signal to know when I am on the verge of growth. I also made a conscious effort to realign my actions with my values. I started reconnecting with people who inspired me and made me feel supported. I began taking care of myself, both physically and mentally. It wasn't easy, and it didn't happen overnight, but slowly, things started to change. Looking back now, I can see how crucial this period of my life was. It taught me that the real growth and purpose comes from being willing to step outside of what's comfortable, to take ownership of your life, and to face your fears head on. It is a continuous journey, but I can tell this time, life feels a lot more meaningful when you are not just drifting through it. If you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share it to those who might need it. Until next time, bye.